Well, hello everybody. Jeff Cowan here from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk, and I'm back with a new edition of my podcast entitled Right Service, Write Your Own Paycheck, the path to making over $100,000 a year when writing service in the automotive industry in the United States of America, Canada, and or Australia. And you know, at this very recording, like I always like to say, just over 20% of you are doing just that, making $100,000 a year or more writing service, but that means that nearly 80% of you are not. So I'm going to make the same suggestion to you that I always do, and that is to keep watching and listening to these podcasts. Go to my website, automotiveservicetraining.com, automotiveservicetraining.com, read the blogs, read the articles, watch the other podcasts there, and between that and this, you'll find all the tools and techniques, methods, and processes you need to put yourself on the path to being in that club of making $100,000 a year. And it's a club you want to be in because it's fun. Well, I'm really excited today to come to you with this podcast because it's going to start a whole series of podcasts a little bit different from the ones I've done in the past. What I've done is I've gone back and I've taken the most popular questions that I get from you, the viewers, and from people in my audiences when I do live events, whether it's a convention or workshop, and I'm going to take clips from live events I've done and answer your questions. And I think this is a good way to do it because here recently I've done that a few times, and those podcasts have been wildly successful. We're getting more and more people watching because they like the live stuff that I do. So today, the question I'm going to answer is this one. It's one that always comes up. Jeff, in your presentations, you always talk about how if you learn how to sell, if you write service and you learn how to sell, you'll never be unemployed in the United States of America, Canada, or Australia unless you choose to be. So what do you mean you'll never be unemployed? Well, like I've told you in past podcasts, you know, if you know how to sell, people are always looking for great salespeople. The automotive industry in particular, if you're a salesperson in it, especially on a service drive, it's been deemed an essential business. So just like in the Great Recession and then again with the pandemic that happened, it was considered essential. Those businesses never closed down and those advisors and those salespeople were never out of work. But you know, to share with you that how I learned that, and to share with you that I walk the walk, you know, that I talk all the time, I'm going to take a clip from a video that I did at the NADA convention a few years ago, and I think it explains to you everything that I'm talking about. Now, this is a true story. It really happened, and the story that I tell here really changed my life, and I think if you listen to it and apply it to what you're doing, whether you're writing service in the automotive industry or any type of selling, I think it will give you great confidence to know that if you can master the art of selling, in the profession of selling, you'll never be unemployed again in the United States of America, Canada, or Australia unless you want to be. So, with that, I'm going to cut over to this live event here, let you watch the video. And by the way, if you like this video and you want to get the full video, all you have to do is be an NADA member. Go to nada.org and you can buy the full video there. And by the way, if you've never been on their site looking at the videos they have thousands of videos from over the last 40 years. Some of the best speakers in the world, as a matter of fact, the best speakers in the world have some of their videos there and they sell them. So again, with that, watch this video, enjoy it. Text me with some of your questions and thoughts. I love talking to you. Have a great day. Have a great week. We'll see you next week where I will answer another question for you. But right now, I'm going to answer the question, what do I mean you'll have a secure future if you're in sales and especially a service advisor? Take care.
I will never forget April 2009, the 19th of that morning. It's seared in my memory like nothing else. You see, at that point in time, I'd only been married about 18 months. And I noticed at that point in time that my new wife, the woman of my dreams, was not sleeping. Having been married before, I know that that's never a good thing. So after experiencing that for a couple of months, finally on April 19th, 2009, I got out of bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. I turned on the light and I simply asked her, "What's wrong?" She looked up and she asked me a question, and that question was, "Are we going to be okay?" Now, my wife is a very smart lady. She was involved in the business that I have at the time, so she saw what was going on. Because if you remember 2009, it was in April, it was shortly after the Great Recession, if you will, had started. Because see, in September 2008, when that started, I lost 70% of my income. So I knew what she was asking, and I got to tell you, when a woman of your dreams asks you, "Are we going to be okay?" it was a gut punch. I mean, with a guy with an ego the size of mine, it was a true gut punch. But I was really proud of myself that morning, the way I responded. Because I looked back at her and I said, well, if you're talking about Pro Talk, I don't know. I think we're going to be okay. I think we see light at the end of the tunnel, but let's not focus on that. Let's focus on what we've accomplished. Because, see, we dated for many years prior to getting married. And I said, let's just focus on what it delivered. All the places we got to go, the people we got to meet, the things we got to do, the places we got to see. That's what we want to focus on, because nobody will ever be able to take that away from us. So when it comes to that, I'm not really sure, but here's what I do know. I do know that we're going to be okay, and we're going to be okay because, quite frankly, you married a salesperson. And you married a great salesperson, because I know how to move product, I know how to hold gross profit, and even in times like these, I can tell you that that skill will make sure that we have everything that we need. When I walked you down the aisle 18 months ago and told you to pick out the house you want, if this is the house you want, it's not going anywhere. When I told you to pick out the type of car that you wanted to drive, the one that's down in the garage right now, if that's the one you want, it's not going anywhere. And when I told you you would never have to worry about eating or clothing or the basic necessities of life, I meant it. And I can assure that you will never have to worry about those things because you married a salesperson, and I'm a great salesperson. I know that in times like these, the last person to go is a great salesperson. The one thing everybody's looking for is a great salesperson. So as far as Pro Talk goes, I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but I do know that we're going to be okay because I can be employed tomorrow and take care of us. Well, it seemed to calm her down, because she rolled over and she fell asleep, and she has literally slept like a baby ever since. Now, part of that might be because we got the sleep number bed. You guys ever, anybody got one of those? It's where you can set up each side the way you want. Currently, I've got mine set on 60. She's got hers set on hateful. I don't know what I did wrong. Okay, but something's not right. But I tell you what, as much as that hurt my feelings that day, for her to have to ask me that, because what she was really asking was, is she going to be able to deliver, right? Is it turned everything around for me. It turned everything around for me, and it made me feel proud because it made me wake up and realize I didn't have anything to worry about. I was always going to be Jeff Cowan, the salesperson, no matter what happened. There was nothing to fear. Nobody could take away that skill from me. So it really reignited, because up to that point during the recession, I was doing business trying to survive. And it hit me the next morning that, yes, there's 14% of the United States of America out of work, but 86% of the people are out there working, and they want to buy stuff. There's nothing to worry about. And I got to tell you this, it was very, very big day for me, because it allowed me to realize again, there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to worry about. To know that I'll never be unemployed in the United States of America and would always be able to deliver to that woman everything that I promised. Now, why do I share that story with you? I share that story with you because if I show you how to do this right today, not only will you have the ability to be secure, but if you take this information back to your people and you teach them how to sell some of these very basic techniques, and they learn how to sell and they have the security, it's only going to make your business more secure.